Hello and welcome to Back to Life Studio. Today we're going to go through a beautiful therapeutic movement session. We'll start with standing up, but before we do, please make sure that you have a TheraBand handy and you've also got a diary or a journal or a piece of paper and a pen handy, and also a pillow or a cushion that we can put underneath your head to support your neck and also to give you extra padding on your knees. At the end of today's session, we're going to do a little bit of TRE, so we'll do a little bit of tremoring. If you haven't done TRE before, and I'll give a bit of an explanation, but if you'd like to learn more, please let me know and we can go into a deeper session in the studio, or I can do a session with you online. And in fact, in a few weeks' time, I'll have one on here online in detail where you can follow along to that as well. But yeah, so let's get started, shall we? Okay, so today I haven't got any music playing in the background. I just thought I'd give you a bit of an opportunity to not have music playing. So I'll move that out of the way. And if you want to play your own music, you can do that and just follow along to the video. But we're going to start with some nice shoulder rolls. Just relaxing those arms, rolling them out. Exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling, those shoulders down and away from your ears. Good. The next one, we're going to squeeze the shoulders up towards your ears and then squeeze down. And as you're squeezing down, I really want you to feel like your lats, the shoulder, underneath your shoulder blades are pulling your shoulders down. Okay, so you've got that little bit of a chest lift as you squeeze your arms down. And almost as you're squeezing your arms down, I want to feel you create a bit of space between your ribs and your hips so that you feel like you're getting taller as your arms are reaching down. It's almost counterintuitive, but yeah, you feel like you're getting taller as your arms are reaching down. So you're lengthening out through your torso and creating more space between those ribs and hips. Good. All right, now we're going to rise up onto our tippy toes, just gliding up and gliding down. Nice and slow, letting all those little intrinsic muscles fire up to stabilize through your feet. You can't see my feet, but I'm sure you can feel your own and that they're working. Good. And rising up and down. Got two more of these. And last one. Good, now you're going to bring your hands behind your head, placing your thumbs into your occipital ridge, so that ridge just behind where your neck, where your skull and your head join. And you're just going to push your head back into your hands. And then release gently, softening the shoulders, and then push your head back against your hands. And you're resisting the pushback with your hands. And then again, release, and then again, push back. And then release. And then again. And this is a vagal toning exercise, and it helps reposition the head back into alignment onto the neck, okay? So with this next exercise, your elbows are going to stay where they are, and you're going to look into the triangle space between your biceps and your forearm, okay? So into that triangle to the side. It feels weird, probably looks weird too if you're watching me. And then come back to center. All right, so the eyes are in the center, and then take your eye gaze again. Chin stays forward, and your eye gaze looks into that triangle, looking as far as you can as you're pushing your head back into your hands, and then back to center. You might see a few stars, and that's okay. And then coming back and pushing your head back, and looking into your elbow, and then back to center. And last one over to this side here. And back to center. Okay, slowly, slowly, slowly release your arms and let your hands come down to your side. Palms facing towards your body as you connect back into your shoulders. Okay, let those relax down. Nice exhale. That's exactly what we're looking for, is that. And that's you grounding, okay? So now we're going to do a roll down. So I'm going to stand to the side as we do the roll down. You're going to gently tuck your chin to your chest, and we're going to roll down, bending at the rib cage, pulling your belly button into spine and rolling down, letting your arms hang down forward, and then come back up again, pulling your belly button into your spine to support your back as you're coming up, just to create that bit more of movement and connection into your core. Again, we're going to roll down, just to where it's comfortable for you, just where you start to feel a pulling, and then coming up. For some of you, it might be you'll be able to roll all the way down to the mat, and that's great, without feeling any tension in the lower back. But if you do get a bit of tension there, keep connecting the belly button in to the spine to support the back and the vertebra as they roll back up, one vertebra at a time. Good, and again, rolling down. Good. With the next one, I'm going to let you go down a little bit further. Just keep folding down towards the mat and hold there for a moment. With each breath, just see if your body is going to let you in or let you down just that little bit further with each breath. So you're letting go, you're letting your body unfold into the mat. Exhaling, keeping the weight into your forefoot. Knees are soft. You don't want to be hyperextending your knees. Just keep your knees soft. Exhale again. See if you can get that a little bit lower with each breath. And one more. Again, start to come up. Start to shift the weight back into the heels as you start to come up. Start pulling your belly button towards your spine so you're protecting your back, or you're engaging your tummy muscles to roll you back up. And again, one vertebra at a time, we're stacking up nice and slow. You might find some sticky points. Just keep it slow, stacking up, shoulders down, head and neck as slow. Again, shoulder roll, and that's just a little bit of movement. So you may have noticed there that as you were rolling, as you were down, hands are hanging down, you may have started out as your ankles, and then with each breath you were just getting down that little bit further, and the body was just letting go. Okay, so we're ready for the next phase of the movement. So now we're going to come down onto the mat, have your little cushions handy, and we'll get started with the next series on the floor. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to do a roll down here. Let me just reposition myself. Which way do I need to go? This way. Get a bit more centered for you. Okay, so we're going to do a roll down, and we're going to keep our arms out in front first. And I might just move my camera a smidge, just keep you guys in the right spot. That's better. Okay, so we're starting off, arms are going to be out in front, and we're tilting, we're creating a C curve, okay, like we did when we did that roll down at the start, but we're going to do it from here. So your arms are out in front, and we're tilting pubic bone, and we're rolling down, connecting into our core as we're rolling down, supporting yourself, rolling down, and then down onto the mat, okay. And then we're going to bring our arms overhead. You can do that probably more easy than where you are. And your arms are going to come up, looking into your belly, rolling yourself back up again. Okay, I'm going to come down a bit more. That's it. All right, so rolling down, looking into your belly, connecting in. Arms are going to reach overhead. Inhale, and then the next exhale, you're going to come up. Good work. All right, so we're rolling down, looking into the belly. Arms are coming up overhead. And then again, in the next exhale, rolling up and stacking up. Okay. Now we're going to do one more. We're going to roll down again, rolling down, imprinting each one of the vertebrae into the mat. And then we're going to come down and arms are going to be flat on the floor. Okay. So from here, we're going to start with our pelvic tilts. So you're going to tilt your pubic bone towards your nose and then back down towards your toes. So you want to imagine there's almost handles on the sides of your hips, or, and you can tilt your pubic bone towards your nose and then tilt them back down again. So really creating that movement through the pelvis, keeping the thighs still and the spine still, and just get that pelvis moving. And then one more. And now we're going to roll the pelvis around from side to side. So you're going to do your pelvic clocks, okay? So rolling the pelvis from one side to the other. You might find one side is a little bit more sticky or stuck than other. And that's just exhale when you get to that point and just roll around and just see if you can free that up, okay? With that movement. And again, change direction. Good. That's it. And then go once more around the other way. If you're a little bit stuck in one direction, you might just want to move into that space again and exhale. Good. When you're doing your pelvic tilts, it's a really good opportunity for connecting in for your deepest tummy muscles too. So as you're peeling your pelvis back towards your nose, you'll feel a connection with the deeper tummy muscles in here. And that's what I want you to get really familiar with, that deep transverse abdominis muscle, okay? It's your deepest band of stomach muscles that is basically like a big girdle that really supports everything from inside, and that's where you draw your core strength from and protects your back. Okay, so from here we're going to bring our heels a little bit closer to our bottom, and we're going to start peeling the pelvis up off the mat so the hips are up high and then back down again. So rolling down, and again tilt the pubic bone towards the nose and roll up. And then back down. Again, tilt, roll up. And you're not coming up too high where you're putting a lot of pressure into your neck or the tops of your shoulders. You're just rolling. Again, we're looking at that spinal articulation and pelvic articulation or pelvic movement with each movement, okay? And again, coming down. Good. Okay, with the next one, we're going to let your feet come a little bit further away from your bottom. So your heels are further away from your bottom. You're going to be out a little bit longer. Okay, we're going to do our knee floats here. So here we're going to pick up the leg and come up and back down, and again other side. Good. So we're trying to pick up that leg without any movement from the hips as well. So we're using those deep tummy muscles to stabilize the pelvis as the hips lift up or the legs lift. And again, other side, exhaling as you lift. Inhale in between. And it is nice and slow because this is about resetting the nervous system. Okay, so we're not rushing. You've probably had a crazy morning or a crazy day and you're joining in on this video, and this is all about just bringing you back, slowing you down, recharging, resetting your nervous system. Okay, and then we rest those legs down. Next one, we're going to bring our legs up to tabletop. So one leg up, two legs up. Rest them at tabletop position. Exhale down, inhale up. And down. So you're using your abdominal muscles to protect your back from arching. If you feel a bit of a strain in your back, and bring your knees a little bit closer to your chest, okay? And that's your safe spot. So you can bring your knees back to here and then shorten this bend in the leg as well. And that will also just reduce the level of strain that you put in your back. Two more. And last one. Of course, I'm counting sets. And then legs to your chest. Okay, so roll your pelvis up off the mat, or your tailbone off the mat behind you, and just hug those knees. Inhale, exhale. Okay, now we're going to hold one leg, one knee to our chest. Outside hand holds onto the front of the knee, inside hand holds onto the front of the shin, and we lengthen down this other leg down to the mat. So exhale down, and let that hip get a good stretch there with the other leg down. And again, you can sense by how you breathe whether your body's ready, whether your body's just got the release. Okay, you sort of feel like this, and that's the release. Okay, and then that lets you know we're going to change sides. So we're holding on to this knee, pulling it into our chest, shoulders are relaxed. Inhale, exhale. So just notice that if you're bracing as you're holding your leg, you just want to, if it's very tight for you and you feel like you've got to be up like this, that's a different story, and we'll talk about that more at the studio. But just for this, and just letting that leg get a good stretch in here, waiting for that exhale, that let go breath. Okay, so now we're going to come up into our chest lift. So our leg's going to come up and our chest is going to come to our knee, and our knee is going to come to our chest. So we're going to switch the legs over with each breath. So exhale. And last one. Bring your knees to your chest, roll back down. Circle around those ankles, get a bit of movement in those ankles. Roll them around, giving the ankles a bit of loving. All right, feet back down onto the mat. We're going to come up into our shoulder bridge now, okay? So we're going to curl the pelvis up off the mat, rolling up, using the glutes underneath to support you and pushing the hips up. Hold there. Then we're going to lift one leg up with the exhale, lower that leg down, other side, exhale, lower down, then the whole body comes down. Okay, I'm going to cue this with a breath for a second. So we're going to inhale at the bottom, exhale to roll up, inhale at the top, exhale, lift that leg, inhale that leg down, Exhale the other leg. Inhale that leg down. Exhale the whole body down. And that's basically the movement, okay? So it's a real breath focus, as you can see. Exhaling up, inhale at the top, exhale to float, inhale down, exhale to float, inhale down, exhale bottom down. Good. Okay, again, rolling up. Exhale, float, inhale down, exhale, float, inhale down, exhale the bottom down. Again, inhale at the bottom, exhale up, inhale the top, exhale, and then down. We'll do a couple more. I'll let you find your rhythm with this so you're not talking through your breathing. And last one coming up. Good, and bottom down. Good work. So that was shoulder bridge with a knee float. Okay, so now we're going to roll onto our sides and we're going to do our side lying series. Again, if you've got a towel that you can roll up enough so that it supports your neck in that position, otherwise you can lay with your arms long. I'm going to get my trusty half foam roller because it's a lot more comfortable. All right, so we're going to lay on our side and we're going to do our clams. All right, so remembering with clams, it's all about the setup. So looking down at your legs, making sure that your knees are even, so our pelvis is even, and that we're not too sunk into that position, okay? So you want to sort of feel like you're lengthening your hips down. Your heels behind you are just lined up a little bit underneath your sit bone. So if you imagined a line straight down from behind you, your heels are rested there, and we're going to lift that top leg. So we're lifting the top leg without rocking back. Okay, just a lift up. I always go through the setup checklist before we get moving, always reminding, because it's so easy just to forget, and then you're like, why is that not working? Or why is my why is my, adductor not working or something, Everything else is doing the work except those glutes. So you're exhaling as you're lifting that leg. We're going for the burn and then we're going to go 4 more, okay? Which is usually about 12. All right, we got 2 more. All right, legs straightens, toes pointed, little circle, keeping the pelvis nice and still again. Really working those glutes. Feel it all the way up. Change direction if you haven't done so already. Good, and then rest down. We're going to do side lying leg lift today. Some of you may not have already done this one in the studio. So I will go, but just follow along with us the best you can. Otherwise, we'll go through a bit of a tutorial in this when you come into the studio. We can talk about it. So we're going to lift up that top leg and that bottom leg. Bottom knee comes together, okay, meets the top one. Good. And if you want a little bit more activation, try and lift up the bottom ribs up off the mat as well, okay? So you're not so crunched into the mat. Good. Last one. Good. We're going to swap ends, of course. Otherwise, we're only going to have one side done. And that would defeat the whole purpose, wouldn't it? All right. So, laying down. Again, squaring off the knees so they're level, the heels are behind you, feet, toes, heels connected, and then lift that top leg. Again, if you've got glutes that aren't seeming to want to work, you can always just touch them, touch that spot. That's the muscle that you want to work in behind the hip. Exhaling as you lift, remembering the breath. Watching that bottom foot isn't lifting up as well, because that gets the body cheating to not use the glute. All right. 2 more. And last one. Okay. Got the burn going. Do 10 circles each direction. I've got to say, I've really been enjoying doing these sessions on a Tuesday morning. When I first started teaching Pilates, we're going to change direction, guys. When I first started teaching Pilates, I hated the mat classes. I didn't want to teach them. I was like, I just want to teach Reformer. But I absolutely love the mat class. And that's why I wanted to make sure, okay, we rest down now. So I wanted to make sure that that I did a session every week, because I watch you guys in the studio and I'm like, I'm so jealous. I want to be doing that. So this is my opportunity to work with you guys and we practice together. So it's extra special. All right, so I'm going to flip ends just because my microphone's attached to one side of me. And you're going to roll over onto your front. We're going to do diamond press and dart. Okay, so starting off with the diamond press. Most of you, we've gone through this in the studio. It's basically a reverse chest lift, as you can imagine. If I was on my head was turned around looking at the sky, it's that movement. So looking down into your hands, into that diamond shape, onto the mat. Almost like you're trying to focus on fine print on a page. Might take you 3 or 4 moves to get the feeling right. But again, it's working these neck extensors that are to correct forward head posture, I guess. Work your back muscles. Okay, head resting onto the mat. You can roll your towel over if you like. Forehead's going to rest onto the mat, onto your towel. And we're going to do our dart, okay? So when we start, we're really relaxed. Palms are facing up. Feet are flat and long. We're going to come up nice and slow. The head and the chest starts to lift up off the mat. And back down. I can't talk while I'm doing that today. Okay, so we're going to inhale, exhale, and then come up in the inhale. And down. Let yourself relax completely in the middle. Again, bring it all together and up. And down. You can find your pace with this movement. It's very strong. One more. Good. Okay, and rest down. Bring your hands to shoulder height. And if this is okay for you, you're just going to lift your chest up a little bit more, bringing your elbows down into the mat. And back down. And again, one more. Chest and heart lifting up, elbows down. Okay, and resting down. Arms are going to reach long. Hands are going to be on their ridges, so your thumbs are pointing up to the sky. And we're just going to do an alternating arm and leg. So one arm lifts up, opposite leg lifts up. Again, other side. One arm lifts up, one leg lifts up. Again, other side, head down. Two more. And then last one. Good. Hands down into where your shoulders are. Push your bottom up and back. Stretch back into child's pose or resting pose. Inhaling, exhaling. Again. And then we're going to come up into our cat-cow. Okay, so knees are underneath hips, wrists are underneath shoulders. We're going to pull our belly button up, creating a big C-curve with that big cat stretch. And then keep your head where it is in between your shoulders, and you're going to send your sit bones up to the sky behind you and roll forward. Again, pulling all the way up. Keep your head there. Let the sit bones move first. Heart and chest to the wall in front. Good. Pulling up. Keep the head where it is. And again. And last one. And then back to neutral. Okay, this time we're going to widen our legs to about the width of the mat, if that's okay for you. Your toes are going to come together, your big toes are going to come together, and you're going to send your sit bones back. Okay, and you're going to rest down, elbows onto the mat. If you like, you can bring your elbows a little bit closer to your head. You're going to rest your forehead onto your hands. I just want you to relax into that space there, and we're just going to do a few pelvic floor exercises here, okay? So we're going to inhale and then squeeze the front of the pelvic floor. So where you do wheeze, you are going to squeeze. You're going to hold for a moment and then exhale and then slowly let go. Again, inhale and squeeze where you do wheeze, hold, and then exhale and then slowly release. And again, inhale, squeeze where you do wheeze, and exhale. And again, inhale, squeeze where you do wheeze, and exhale. Good work. Coming up onto all fours. We're going to do our pointer dogs. So square yourself off, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Lengthen one leg out behind you, one arm reaches out, thumb pointing up to the sky. And we're going to lift that leg nice and slow. Feel like you're lengthening out and you're strong through your core, okay? And then back down again. So there's no twisties, no twisting or rotating through the hips. Reach and lift. Nice and high, or sorry, nice and long, and then back down again. Okay, again, reach, reach, lift, and back down. Good. Reach, reach, and back down. Again, reach, reach. And back down. Make sure you're pointing your toes as well. I don't know if you can see mine in the thing. So you want to sort of have that point. So it's not. So that's the idea. We're trying to get long legs, yeah? And again, other side. Alrighty, we're going to do some donkey kicks here now, working on our glutes. So again, staying where we are in quadrupled position, we're going to bring our knee up behind us so it's level with our hip, and we're going to flatten the foot so that our heel pulses up to the ceiling, and we're not twisted. Okay, we want to make sure that those hips are square, headlights looking down into the mat, and we're going to pulse that leg up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back down, other side. Switch sides, bring that leg up, heel up, and pulse 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Really important with that exercise that we actually get, we're going to do another set, that we keep that leg at the right angle, because that's where the hamstrings work and the glutes will work. Okay, so we're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. And then other side, again up, flex, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Rest the bottom back. Have a breath there. Good work. All right, we're going to come up into a bit of a hip flexor stretch now. So just adjust my leggings. All right, so you probably got my head cut off here, not too bad. So we're going to bring that leg out in front. If you're on a firmer floor and you want to use the cushion underneath your knee, I encourage you to do that to protect your knees. But we're going down into our hip flexor stretch, okay? So this leg is flexing, this leg on the other side is getting the stretch. So exhale to go down, inhale to come back up. Again, exhale down, inhale back up. And we're just taking it to the point of tension and we're backing off, okay? Making sure your hips are square, you're not twisted anywhere, trying to keep those hips in alignment as you're going down into your stretch. And you might find you get a bit deeper and deeper into the stretch the more you go, okay? That's the idea, okay? Exhale down. And with the next one, rather than pushing forward further, let's bring the arm up, okay? And then you'll get that little bit more of a stretch right down the front of the rib, front of the body, as the arm, opposite arm is up in the air. I don't know if you can see my arm where I am. Yep. Okay, and then backing off. We're going to swap sides. We'll do the other side. So again, switch that legs around. If you need a cushion under your knee, do that. Sinking down, exhale down, inhale back up. Again, exhale down, inhale up, down. And just like we did at the start of the session, with each breath, the body's letting it go just that little bit more, okay? So like we were doing, when we were doing that little hamstring stretch at the start, each breath, it just lets go more. Rather than just holding there and forcing it, let the breath be the release in the movement. Good, I'm going to bring this arm up now, and we're going to get that stretch a little bit deeper. You can come back and then go back down again a little bit deeper with that arm up. And last one. Good work. All right. Nice. We're going to come around now and we're going to do some lateral flexion now. So we're going to do the mermaids. So we'll do a couple of those. I'm just checking my time. Yep, plenty of time. Cool. All right. So sitting in your Z sit position to begin with, we're going to do a bit of a hip open stretch to start off with. So you can place your hands behind you and we're going to, actually probably wherever feels comfortable, I guess. But we're going to push that hip forward, okay? So that hip is getting a little bit of a push forward. So we're opening up the front in here. So again, exhale, and then back. You feel your glutes working from underneath to push that hip forward, because that's the job of the glutes, is to extend the hip. Okay, we're going to swap her over. And again, same deal. Find where your hands are comfortable and push those hips forward. Again, working those glutes underneath to push that hip forward. Okay. Now we'll go back to the original, or the first position there, first side, and we're going to do some mermaids, okay? So the hand, to start off with, we're going to bring this hand just in front, so the fingers are pointing in that direction, just so that our elbow is going to soften to our body or drop down as we bring our arms over. Okay, and then swap sides, coming over this way, you'll feel the stretch on this side. Okay, again, hands. With the mermaid, you want to feel like you're moving between two planes of glass, okay, so that you're not rocking forward and you're not leaning back, just nice between each side. Hand comes over the head, just gentle, and then back. Just positioning the body, allowing it to move freely. And I understand it could be very tight for some of you, but believe me, it does actually help free you up. I remember when I first started Pilates, I was off to the side, I couldn't sit up. So that's the goal, okay? We're going to swap legs around, we'll do the other side. Okay, so you might feel a difference in this side. Again, hand out, bending down over our arm, and then back. And again, the position of the neck with this exercise as well. Sometimes don't be looking down at the mat because you'll get a twist. So you sort of want to just look, always looking out on the horizon. Okay, and that also helps with the position of the neck. I need to remember that myself. Good. All right, good work. Okay, come into the center. If all that felt good for you, we're going to do a bit of a stretch. Okay, this is a bit of a rotation stretch, and we're going to do it with extended legs too. If you feel this is a bit uncomfortable, obviously sitting cross-legged, feel free to use your cushion and place that underneath your tailbone just to lift you up that little bit further so it's less pressure on you, so that you can sit up nice and tall. Okay, that's the idea. So I don't want you slouched and twisting because that's not good. So we want you to be able to be tall. So if you need something underneath your hips, do that. Otherwise, if it feels uncomfortable, don't do the exercise. Arm's going to reach, hand's going to touch there, and we're going to rotate, pushing into our knee, pulling our body around into that little bit of a rotation. And relaxing with the breath again. Each breath, just giving yourself that little bit more of a twist if that feels okay for you. And then come back to center. Okay, other side, again, holding knee, twisting yourself around, nice and gently, inhale, exhale. Again, if you don't feel like you can sit up straight, don't do this exercise. But it is a nice stretch, okay? And then come back to center. Now we're going to do our legs in circles, okay? Our hip circles with the TheraBand. So we're going to lay back down onto the mat. So the pillow underneath your head to support your head. Grab your TheraBands and we'll lay down. Okay. So we're going to place the forefoot into the TheraBand. So the toes are in the band. Yep, like so. And we're going to wrap once around at the end of the band and anchor those hands or those elbows down into the mat at a right angle, okay? And we're going to start with point and flex. So yes, you will feel your toes squishing into the TheraBand. Stretch, point, and stretch. That's it. Point and stretch. Good. Not having your leg down too low because you won't get the stretch in the calf, okay? If you just bring your hips, your knees over hips, up a bit higher, you'll get a lot more stretch in those calf muscles, okay? Got 4 more. 2, and last one. Okay, now we're going to lower the heel down, the leg down, and back up again. Okay, down, and back up. Two more. And last one, one to make you grow. Alrighty, and then we're going to lower the leg down. We're going to do our hip circles here. So with the exhale, we lower the leg down and we swing that leg around. So exhale down, big exhale and big swing around. So remember, it's about the other leg too that's stabilizing you and keeping your pelvis stable, as well as your stomach muscles and everything else working to fire up and support that pattern. 2 more. And again. Good. Swap legs around, keep one leg in the air, makes it a bit easier for you. Swap the bands over, other leg comes down. Rest that foot into the mat. We'll start with our point and flex again on this side. So a bit of a calf stretch. Good. We've got 2 more. Good. Raise and lowers, so the leg comes down, heel down, coming back up. Exhaling at the top, so you're exhaling at the stretch at the top. Two more. Last one. Next one, exhale that leg down and swing it around. Good, exhale down. If you've got a lot of movement in your pelvis, slow the move down. So slow that circle down. But if you're able to keep your pelvis quite stable and you're feeling strong enough, let that leg really swing around. Because ideally when Joseph Pilates, when he did this exercise, he actually did it without the TheraBand, obviously. And that's what we want to aim for. But also we want to be able to do this exercise letting the pelvis move, so the whole thing, everything moves, and that's okay and strong for you because your core is able to keep that center strong and still. But if we're not there yet, that's okay. We'll just keep doing these because they're still very beneficial for the hips, okay? All right, so bring both feet into the band now. Again, connect yourself. Right, we're going to lengthen the legs down at the same time. We're going to start to come up, okay? So remember, it's going to put some, get you working your abdominal muscles, okay? So we're going to lower the legs down, looking into your belly, coming up into your little chest lift, and coming up. Let the legs lower down, and you're going to come up with it, okay? And then you're in your teaser position, the start of teaser, knees bent, and you can come all the way up. Good work. Good. All right, let's do a few roll like a ball because they're always fun for a good back massage, and then we'll finish off with some tremoring, okay? So starting off, roll like a ball, knees are tucked into your chest, you're creating a rounded back, looking into your belly, and you're going to inhale back and exhale up. I always laugh because I'm on the trap table that creaks the most, okay? So inhale back, appropriately timing. Okay, exhale down. So inhale down, exhale up, just correcting my breathing pattern there. And again, remember when we do this exercise, we're focusing on rolling straight, okay? So you can feel all those muscles activating in your body to roll straight. That's the goal, okay? And we're coming up. Good, and one more. Good work. Okay, all right. So now laying back down, you can do a nice roll down into that movement if that's okay for you. Support your head with a cushion, get yourself comfortable because we're going to lay here for a few minutes. We've got about a 5-minute little tremoring session, and feel free at the end. We'll give it about 5 minutes so we finish on 9 o'clock. But at the end, if you want to keep tremoring and let the video, it'll all turn off, I'll sign out. That's fine. I encourage you to do that for a little bit longer as well. So just to start off with, we're going to bring our feet into butterfly position. So the soles of our feet are connected together. And we're letting our legs drop out, wide out to the side. And yes, let that breath. It's nice after doing the roll like a ball where the heart rate comes up, and then just to go jelly, like jelly on a plate on the mat. So get yourself comfortable. Notice your body connected into the mat. I encourage you to have your palms facing up too, just to help rotate those shoulders and open up that chest. And yeah, just breathing in, letting your belly rise and fall with each breath. Feel that heart rate. Feel the edges of your feet connected into that mat, your adductors, your inner thighs stretching out wide onto the mat as well. Notice the pelvis and how that's positioned into the mat. Are you comfortable? Do you feel like you've got tightness somewhere? And just notice what you notice, and then just take the breath. And then we're going to lift those knees up a couple of inches. Okay. And we'll keep those feet pressed into each other. And again, just notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. See if you can feel any tremors starting anywhere and where they are. If you've already got tremors, I encourage you just to let your legs lengthen down for a moment, and you can stop those tremors. Hold out, exhale. Know that you can come back to that space, same space that you just left from, and restart those tremors. Again, feet together, knees lifted slightly off the mat, so your adductors are working to keep your legs into position. And again, exhaling. And those tremors might start again. Bring the knees a little bit closer together now. Again, remembering we're trying to find that comfort level between 0 and 10. We're trying to find number 7, okay? We kind of want to have, or know where our 7 is on any scale, whether it be comfort or exertion. Just keeping within that range and not overdoing it to overwhelm the body. If you've got some more tremors, let's lengthen those legs out. Again, shake your legs a little bit, have a breath, exhale, and follow your body. So when you're ready, you're going to bring your legs back together again, your feet back together again. Back into the the butterfly pose. Feet back together, knees up a little bit higher, starting off in that same position you just finished in, and see how the tremors start to come in. So if you've got some more tremors and you feel like you want to plant your feet back onto the mat, so your feet are flat, and then just let those tremors keep building in the body. Again, no more than noticing in your body that any tension or bracing. So you just want to be relaxed, letting tension go. Any little twitch is a tremor, is a tension release. So even if your fingers are twitching or your shoulders are twitching, then you are doing a tremor. You are releasing. So if you have got the tremors up and you're feeling in awe of your body doing what it does naturally, that's great. Again, if you feel like you want to have a rest or you want to stop them for a moment or two, do that. Just lengthen your legs down and you can stop. And then you can restart again, just for short little bursts, just like you would if you were starting any exercise. And not wanting to overdo it. You can move on to doing tremoring, 2 to 3 times a week. Again, just gradually building it up with sessions of no more than 15 minutes is probably, ideal. Just keeping it in that comfort zone of a 7. We've talked about that a little bit in the studio for those that have done a TRE session with me in the studio. And if not, I've got my little book, Unstuck. You can read up more about the instructions for how to do this method. And you can access that book online on my website. and also in the studio as well. So I'm going to leave you there to keep tremoring, okay? And if you want at the end, you can lay on your side, have a little sleep. Just start the day slow. That's perfectly okay. Or not. She's up and ready to go. Or you can journal if you like to sit there and do some journaling. Just notice what you notice in your body and how you feel, how you felt at the beginning, how you felt at the end. And just follow through that process of just giving that body another way to express itself. So this is the movement expression, releasing, and then you'll have the writing, which is also a form of expression as well, obviously, form of expression as well. So I'm going to continue tremoring here, and I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful day and have a great day, and I'll see you in the studio or next week. See ya.